No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done. No matter how you move, get it done.
Okay people, so starting the new year off 2022, I already had an accomplishment. I actually finished an anime, even though technically it was a carryover from last year and I should have finished it sooner. I'm talking about Eden's Zero. Now a lot of people were like, okay Fornev, like you did say you was gonna finish this off. You said a lot of promises. What's going on? What are your thoughts on Eden Zero so far? What's happening? Well, here I am because I just finished off Eden Zero last night. The last 12 or so episodes that came out for the season over on Netflix, and it was definitely an interesting time with Eden Zero, to say the least, because obviously you already know, in case you know my history with Fairy Tail, very colorful throughout the years of reviewing it and all that jazz, the anime, the manga, all of that good stuff, the previous series of Hiro Mashima, the creator of Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, and going into Eden Zero, there was definitely a little baggage left over from that. I think for the most part we discussed a lot of that with the previous video talking about the first batch of episodes, first 12 or 13 of the season. So with this one in particular, a lot of the things I was looking at was like, okay, for the most part I'm invested. I like this cast of characters, they're cool. There's a lot of reminiscent things that I feel from Fairy Tail, but I do feel like Hiro Mashima is going in an okay direction. There wasn't anything that I was like, oh my god, here we go again, minus the fact that it felt like over the top, almost purposeful with Shiki and his whole thing of friends. I want 100 friends. I love friends. Will you be my friend? You be my friend. Yo, you back there, the dude cleaning the toilet water. You my friend, right? Like, that's genuinely overkill. But aside from that, in a moment here or there, for the most part, Hiro Mashima looked like he learned a lot of lessons of his time working on Fairy Tail when he came into Eden Zero and going in a different direction with the series and changing things up. Because definitely felt like something that, while Fairy Tail did dive into things like this from time to time, it feels like Eden Zero is making it more of a natural thing. And what I mean by that is there is colorful things in Eden Zero, but I noticed that Hiro Mashima likes to dabble a lot more in the darker realm of storytelling, and from what people tell me with the manga, it only continues that realm. But especially, like, I started noticing that with the second half of episodes when we dive into Hermit's backstory. When we get into Hermit's backstory, I was already like, holy cow, because I remember bits and pieces of it from the manga. At this point, it's been a few years since I read it, so a lot of it was kind of refreshing and kind of almost new to me, to be honest with you, because I had forgotten a lot of things. And then when I was like, oh shoot, like, this is really dark what happened to this robot, how she trusted humans and she thought she was on this crusade to save and, you know, bring harmony between humans and robots, and all along the humans were plotting on her, and the dude went from Dr. Light to Dr. Wily in a matter of a freaking drop of a hat and tied her up and tortured her for years and cut her body. I was like, this is Hiro Mashima? This is Mr. Friendship, Power Friendship that people have labeled him over the years? Oh, okay, we're talking. Not that I'm just a savage for violence, but it's just a radical departure from the happy-go-lucky stuff that he's been kind of known to do. I mean, again, like I said, there's been a lot of heart-wrenching stuff that happened in Fairy Tail, but this was just dark, even for Hiro Mashima, because when they were searching for Herman and then they finally found her and we dive all the way into her backstory, that was like, okay, wow, Hiro's really going deep in here. But I wasn't expecting it to get that dark again for the rest of the season. I was like, okay, this is the dark part for the story and maybe we'll get something dark later. But I was like, oh wow, like it got dark multiple times throughout this second batch of episodes. It's not even just the whole season, like just this last 12, it was like darkness, more darkness. Holy cow, this is messed up. And before we jump into even more darkness, there was a lot of interesting setups as well, like that former captain of, I think it was Eden's 1 if I'm not mistaken. I was like, what's up with that? So Hiro Mashima, one of the things I think he learned and is implementing more of in Eden Zero is foreshadowing and setting things up for later usage. And what I mean by that is, like, he set up the captain thing, right? And I don't even think, no, it wasn't resolved at all by the end of this batch of episodes, but that's for later on down the road, and it's probably going to tie into a whole bunch of things. And I like that. Like, it was little by little unraveling, like, so wait a minute, we saved this random weird old dude in space, and then we find out that he's a part of Eden's 1, which, what's up with Eden's 1? So it's Eden 0, where's Eden's 1 if this is Eden 0? What's going on with that? What's the connection to him? Like, there's a lot of little Easter eggs and setups and foreshadowings that Hiro Mashima is doing, considering he wrote Fairy Tail on the fly and said that like 90% of it or whatever like was not planned. It's like, it's very refreshing. Also found it fascinating when we run into Zhao Mei, who is coincidentally also the narrator. I thought that was something interesting for starters, because it kind of felt like, okay, so we're breaking the fourth wall with this character, because then they're incorporated into the actual story and the characters interact with this character that was just interacting with us, the audience. So I was like, oh, I wonder where Hiro is going with this. I like it. It's something different. Like, if you can actually incorporate it where it almost feels realistic, a character that just broke the fourth wall but is not breaking me out of the whole entire story, I was like, okay, I want to see more of this. Like, what is he planning on doing? Because he had the little short tournament that was actually setting things up and foreshadowing for down the road as well. Again, more planning. Hiro Mashima has shown a lot more planning in this last batch of 12, season 1 of Eden Zero, than a lot of the last, I don't know, 50 to 100 of Fairy Tail. Like, I'm not here to rag on Fairy Tail, but I'm just saying, like, Mans came prepared this time around. And then how that arc tied into as well the whole Madame Kurenai and the dungeon, and basically Homura's whole arc, which hands down, now I can 100% say at the very least for season 1, everything that I witnessed of Eden Zero, going past what I read of the manga, because with the manga, I was always stuck on chapter 50. I was perpetually there, 50, 53-ish, somewhere around there, and here we are that I finally caught up, because I want to say the anime leaves us at 68 or 69 of the chapters of the manga, so that's where it leaves us. But I want to say easily Homura is my favorite character, and not just like, oh, waifu or anything like that. Like, her past, her backstory, her connections, because, you know, she came to this planet there looking for Valkyrie, and when we find out about her heritage and everything, oh my god, that was the second time I'm like, Hiro Mashima got even darker. Well, yeah, even darker than what he just did and what he just established with Hermit. This was even like, oh my god, because it was heart-wrenching and dark. I will say it definitely felt a little bit like it borrowed in a way from Urza's backstory with her past and her heritage and stuff like that. So I will say that it felt a little bit borrowed in a way between Homura's heritage and Erza's heritage from Fairy Tail, but it hit. And the ending, I was just kind of like, wait a minute, so that's her fate in the end? I'm trying to be very spoiler free, but if you know, you know, regarding the person that is connected to Homura and what I was just kind of like, wow, Forest of Death, we'll call it. Yeah, death on that ass. Honestly, man, Eden Zero was just so freaking awesome for that last 12. There were a few hiccups here or there, things that I wasn't totally fond of, I'm not gonna lie, and I'd hate to say it because it's a fellow YouTuber, but I was not a fan at all of the character Nino. Nino is literally, imagine writing me into an arc of One Piece or any shonen that you're reading or watching right now. That's basically what they did. I believe he's, if I'm not mistaken, a German or French, I want to say German, a YouTuber, Nino Taku, something along the lines of that. Apparently he was like a really big Hiro Mashima fan, and Hiro Mashima like did an interview with him and all sorts of stuff, if I'm not mistaken, and he wrote him into the actual story, and he's like a part of a cast of antagonists towards the end, and it just really got a little bit like jarringly ridiculous for me. Like when he kept on saying anime will save the universe, like imagine you have Marineford, dog, and like Luffy's trying to save Ace, and all of a sudden you just see me coming out, anime and manga for life, guys. Like, you'd be like, Fnev, get the fuck out of my One Piece. What are you doing? Like, that's kind of how I felt with Eden Zero. Like, Nino, cool, man. I love seeing YouTubers doing the damn thing, but can you move? Like, no, anime's not saving the universe right now. You're ruining this universe. You're messing it up. You're breaking the fourth wall more than freaking Zhao Mei ever did. So I was not fan of Nino, and I hate it because it sounds like I'm a hypocrite. Like, I don't want a YouTuber just jumping in the middle of my anime manga story. Like, hey, having a cameo and a nod to him because you respect and vice versa, that's dope. Having him be a full-on antagonist and a part of the story. And yeah, people, Eden Zero, second batch of episodes clearing out season 1 of the anime. I'm rocking with it, man. It got darker. I can't even believe it that, yo, at times I was thinking to myself, is this prime Hiro Mashima? And then people tell me that the manga is just 10 times better after the fact. So it's like, yeah, chapters 68, 69 of the manga, here I come. But very curious what you guys think. If you wrapped up watching season 1 of Eden Zero, what did you think of it? How do you feel in comparison to Fairy Tail? Is it just way darker and grittier than Fairy Tail ever was? Is it Hiro Mashima's best work so far, or does that title still go to Raid Master? And your overall thoughts and expectations for the series moving forward. Again, I will be jumping into the manga moving forward from here because I heard it's only uphill, and Hells yeah, let's go, baby. I'm ready. That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram. Hit that bell to get all notifications. And if you want to follow any of my other social media, links are in the description below. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Have an awesome day. Peace in, and Eden Zero. Hiro Mashima, he stepped it up and he planned a lot. I could tell. Have an awesome one.